Big studios play it safe. Indie developers don't have to. They can take risks, mechanically, thematically, even structurally. What you're about to see isn't safe, familiar, or market tested. It's strategy designed with actual intent from talented teams. These are the top 5 indie strategy games you should be watching. Recon 1944 is a small-scale real-time tactics game set on the Eastern Front during the closing stages of World War II. You play as a Soviet recon unit operating behind enemy lines in East Prussia, scouting, sabotaging, and surviving in hostile territory. This isn't a base-building RTS, there's no factories or resource nodes, don't expect tiny reinforcements rolling in after a minute or two. You get a handful of soldiers, a mission objective, and a map full of threats. The gameplay is slower, more deliberate, and entirely focused on positioning, observation, and patience. Every bullet counts, every mistake gets punished. What sets it apart is how little it tries to hold your hand. You're expected to read the terrain, track patrol paths, and make decisions with limited information. Line of sight is critical, cover will save you. Suppression, angles, and elevation all factor into whether your unit survives a skirmish or gets torn apart. If you've played Partisans 1941, Desperados 3 or Commandos, you'll get the general feel, but Recon dials it back even further with less spectacle and more tension. It's grounded, grim and functional, which is exactly what it's going for. There's already a free public demo and playtesting is active on Steam. Full release is scheduled for Q3 2026 and the pace of development has been steady. It's a small project, but what's already there looks solid, focused, tight, and serious. It's not going to compete with the big budget strategy titles, but it's not trying to. Recon 1944 is for players who want clarity, control, and a bit of pressure. Sharp tactics in a historical setting with no room for mistakes. Fall of an Empire is a grand strategy survival game where you don't build an empire, you try to stop one from collapsing. You play as a general who's just seized power in a dying realm. Through a mix of military force and political manoeuvring, you've crowned yourself emperor. The problem is, you've inherited a decaying, overstretched state. Your armies are tired, your nobles are treacherous, barbarians mass at your borders, and the clock is ticking. The core premise flips typical 4X and grand strategy mechanics on their head. Instead of expansion and growth, your job is to delay decline for as long as possible. You'll still raise armies, pass edicts and manage the economy, but everything you do comes with trade-offs. Enforce too much order and the people rebel. Let too much chaos fester and your provinces slip away. The game constantly pushes you to make impossible choices, and most of them hurt. There's a heavy narrative element woven into the systems. Events tie into the cultural, religious and social makeup of your empire. Assassinations, uprisings, religious fractures, invading warlords. Everything feeds back into the core tension. How long can you keep the illusion of control alive? The campaign is designed with inevitability in mind. You will fall. The only question is how, when, and what legacy you leave behind. Some runs might end in civil war, others might see you exiled, assassinated, or burned out trying to hold the line. But if you're clever, ruthless, or just lucky, you might buy yourself a golden age before it all comes crashing down again. Visually, it's restrained. Think more historical sim than Total War spectacle, but the mood is thick. Think Crusader Kings meets Frostpunk. Fall of an Empire is currently slated for a Q1 2026 release. It's single player only and is being developed by a small team with a clear focus, hard decisions, bleak tone, and systems that punish complacency. It won't be for everyone, but if you like your grand strategy with sharp edges and no power fantasy in sight, this one should be on your radar. The Last General is the most ambitious modern war RTS in development right now. It's still early, but the design goals are clear. Massive maps, thousands of units, detailed logistics, and no artificial limits on how you conduct a war. You play as a general fighting through a fictional modern conflict, but the systems are grounded in realism. Combat ranges are long, line of sight matters, terrain offers proper concealment and cover, and your units need supplies to keep functioning. Alongside tanks and infantry, you manage artillery, helicopters, convoys, drones, engineers, and static defences. Every unit has a role, and you're expected to use all of them. Where this really separates itself is in its scope. Missions take place across entire continents. You can zoom in to give orders to a single infantry squad, or zoom out and coordinate multi-pronged assaults with air support and mechanised pushes. The interface is designed to let you play as you want, tactically, operationally, or strategically. The campaign focuses on large-scale modern warfare across vast open maps. Mission types include territorial control, precision attacks, and full-scale mechanised assaults. Rather than direct micromanagement, you guide the action through strategic commands, drawing attack vectors, managing logistics, and coordinating combined arms across shifting front lines. It isn't scripted, There's a strong systemic layer driving AI decisions and battlefield dynamics. Enemy forces act independently, exploit gaps in your lines, and don't follow simple patterns. The goal is to simulate an unfolding war, not just run a checklist of objectives. Visually, it's still a work in progress, but what's been shown so far looks clean and functional. There's a strong emphasis on realism, with vehicle physics, line-of-sight modelling, and destruction all playing into how battles unfold. The Last General is currently targeting a 2026 release, with more public details expected later this year. If it lands anywhere near its design goals, this could be the defining title for large-scale modern RTS. It's still one to watch rather than pre-order, but if you're into command-level control, logistics-heavy warfare, and truly large-scale engagements, The Last General is already looking like one of the most promising indie strategy games on the horizon. It could be better than Broken Arrow. From the creators of Battle Brothers comes Menace, a turn-based tactical RPG set in a brutal militarized sci-fi setting. It's due to hit early access in Q3 2025, and while it's very different from Battle Brothers in tone and mechanics, the DNA is unmistakable. You command a strike force aboard the TCRN Impetus, tasked with responding to distress calls across an isolated sector of space cut off from the core worlds, where multiple factions and alien threats converge. Think Space Marines without the dogma, just grizzled professionals getting the job done. Expect armoured infantry, tanks, mechs, and enough firepower to level towns. Instead of controlling a single squad in mission after mission, you operate from an orbiting cruiser, making strategic decisions, choosing where to deploy, and managing the long-term health of your campaign. The missions themselves are hard: cover, elevation, suppression, overwatch, it's all there, but Menace deliberately avoids the standard XCOM-style percentage dice rolls. Instead, you get visible trajectory lines that show you how accurate your shots will be based on distance, weapon type, suppression level, and enemy movement. It's less about chance, more about control. Units aren't faceless. Each one can be customized with weapons, armor, implants, and perks. And because the game leads into permadeath, losing a veteran squad member mid-mission actually stings. Between missions, you manage supplies, repair vehicles, heal wounded troops, and decide where to strike next. Ignore logistics and your campaign will collapse quickly. But Menace goes deeper than just tactical encounters. The strategic layer is shaping up to be a huge part of the experience. Your cruiser is mobile and acts as a base of operations. The planet is divided into hostile regions controlled by different factions. Each one behaves differently. Some fight conventionally, others ambush you, spread propaganda, or just disrupt your logistics. If you want to stabilise the sector, you'll need more than just firepower. Visually it's tight, gritty, grounded and functional. Nothing flashy, but everything you need is clearly communicated. There's no bloated UI, no excess animations, just tactical information and weighty decisions. Menace already has over 250,000 wishlists on Steam and a very engaged following. If you're tired of RNG heavy tactics games and want something more deliberate, more punishing, more systemic, this should be very high on your list. Sanctuary Shattered Sun is a large-scale real-time strategy game set on a Dyson sphere constructed around our own sun. It's not post-apocalyptic, there's no grand space opera collapse behind it, just a clean, high-concept setting designed to support massive battles and intelligent system design. The focus is scale. We're talking hundreds of units per side on vast battlefields, all controlled through a zoomable interface that lets you go from single unit control to full map command in seconds. It takes the lineage of Total Annihilation and Supreme Commander seriously, and it's being built by a team that understands what made those games work. You manage two core resources, energy and alloys, and every part of the economy feeds into maintaining momentum across the battlefield. You expand to extract, build to fight, and control territory to win. It's pure, deliberate macro play. What separates Sanctuary from most modern RTS attempts is how integrated the systems feel. Terrain isn't just visual dressing, it's functional. Elevation impacts range and line of sight. Ocean surfaces can be frozen to create new attack paths. The very ground you're fighting over can be destroyed by sphere-shattering superweapons. Each of the game's three factions has a distinct design philosophy with unique unit aesthetics, strengths and late-game escalation paths. Each faction fights in its own way, either through overwhelming numbers, precision technology or brute force firepower. Experimental units range from base killers to game enders. The visual direction is clean, sharp and legible. Even in large engagements, units remain distinguishable, and the UI is built for managing information at scale. It's an RTS for players who think in systems, not spectacle, but there is spectacle. The developers have been consistently open with detailed updates and direct engagement with the community. A demo release is currently expected in late 2025 with early access in 2026. It already feels more coherent and focused than most finished games in the genre. If you've been waiting for something that actually understands the appeal of large-scale RTS, without compromises, without campaign padding, and without micromanagement spam, Sanctuary Shattered Sun is the one to watch. If you only watch 5 games coming out in the strategy space, make it these ones. And don't forget to subscribe to Critical Moves for more.